Hello again, guys. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. So, 2023 is the year that I started reading again, and I cannot be more thankful that I did because, wow, maybe I shouldn't be so grateful because I now have an addiction. I now have a problem. I now have something that is just taking up so many hours of my day. But I love it, so like I wouldn't have it any other way. So I wanted to do some little end of year book stuff, just kind of reflecting on the reading year that I had. I read a lot of super amazing books. I tried to start with the popular ones just so, honestly, so I wouldn't get spoiled, because spoilers are the bane of my existence. I hate them very much. So I just started with a bunch of popular ones, but there are ones that I found were overhyped, some that I found were underhyped, some that weren't popular at all, that were actually really good. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about some of the books that I found good, bad. I have some prompts that I picked up from other people's videos. I have compiled a list. The lighting is like very weirdly luminescent, so I really hope you don't mind, but like the sun is just like reflecting on my face a lot. So first I wanted to talk about a little bit Goodreads. So Goodreads is something that I discovered a little bit into my reading. I only discovered it like after I'd read quite a bit. I also wanted to say that I haven't been reading since January. I basically just started reading like in May, so I haven't read as many books as I probably could have this year. This year's Goodreads goal was 50 books and I read 70. So I'm very satisfied with that number. Next year I would love to get to 100. So that maybe I'd put the Goodreads goal as like 80, but secretly I like want to read 100 books. So that's between you and me. That's between you and me. I might not put that on Goodreads, but so first off, I wanted to talk about my most disappointing book. I know it's not a very positive note to start off on, but this is very interesting to discover the books that I found worth the hype, some that I found were definitely not, and one that I definitely thought was not worth the hype was Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I gave this one 2.5 stars because, oh my goodness, it was so long for no reason. This is supposed to be like a psychological thriller type deal, but it was so dragged out, it was so boring. I find the concept very intriguing. That's why I didn't give it any lower than 2.5 stars. Like, I think the movie is good. This is one of the only movie adaptations that I would actually recommend higher than the book because it is so long. The words are very small, and there's like over 400 pages, which is obscenely long for a thriller. And this is the kind of story that you would want to stay intrigued the whole time, and I just was not. So the thriller is supposed to be thrilling, and it was not. It's as simple as that. And then an underdog book that I really enjoyed. I will talk about this book any opportunity that you give me. Like any chance that I get, I will bring up this book because I really want it to become popular. I really want it to become a thing. I want you guys to read this book so much, and it is A Word So Fitly Spoken by T.A. Lawrence. This is a romantasy, and I haven't heard like anyone talk about this, which is so unjustified because it is so clever. It is so well written. I love how this author writes. She's able to breathe life into fantasy books like in a really understandable but still super magical way, and I'm just so obsessed with it. The actual plot, the plot of the book, the characters of the book, the magic system was just so to die for, and I just would recommend it to the mountaintops. Yeah, it's such an underdog book, but it's a new one. The series, I think, came out this year. Okay, this book is the first book of the series and it came out last year, but I think the remaining ones came out this year, I believe. Yeah, I really want this one to become popular, but that is a big underdog book that I adored. And then an overhyped book. I don't know if you can tell from the reflections on my face what book this is, but it's Fourth Wing. That's kind of funny. Yeah, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I really don't think lived up to the hype. The hype was unreal. I have not seen a book this hyped up. This was like a brand new book, and like everyone was obsessed with it. Like it's everywhere related to books, and that is so shocking to me. I like don't understand what is so special about this book. Truly, like it's good, but I don't see how this is anywhere above all the other excellent fantasy books that I have read. Like I don't get it. I gave it 4 stars because it's just like someone asked me what would have had to change in order for me to give it 5 stars, and I feel like I wouldn't change a whole lot of what's already there. I just feel like there wasn't enough extra. There wasn't enough deeper for me to appreciate and grasp, because I feel like all the books that I gave 5 stars, I can just see like something deeper going on, see the genius of the concept of the book, or just like how they're able to make me enjoy it so much. Like there needs to be something else there, and I feel like there just wasn't with this. It just felt very surface level. There is emotion, but it's not to the point that I'm looking for. For all the other reasons, like all the characters and the plot, well, not so much the characters. The side characters I did not love. The main characters are pretty good, but the plot and the dragons and the world building and stuff I did like, but I just really do not think that it lived up to the insane amounts of hype. Next is a book that surprised me, and I actually have two for this one. The first one I have is Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi. I actually thought that this book would make me cry in a puddle of cringy tears, so I'm very shocked that I enjoyed this book as much as I did. I feel like the concept is a lot more unique than I thought, at least in this first book. I go in depth with the two Shatter Me vlogs that I made this year, but this first book I liked a lot better than the second and third, and then the fourth, fifth, and sixth books I actually really liked, probably at the same level as I liked this one. But this first book here really surprised me because the concept is very unique. It's about like a girl that's kind of insane a little bit, and it was so interesting to read from a person's perspective that was like, she was in solitary confinement and like kind of going a little bit crazy, just a little bit, and so it was so cool to see how the author was able to capture that like kind of unhingedness of her brain. Yeah, I was totally eating it up. I really was surprised by how much I appreciated how smart this book was. The second one that surprised me was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I was surprised by this because it is hyped a pretty decent amount, like on BookTok and stuff, at least like in the past it was, but I feel like recently I've seen people's reviews of it to be kind of negative. Like they say that it's all vibes, no plot, that there's not a whole lot going on, it's just not intriguing enough, it's not deep enough, like I don't know, I've heard those things, but oh my goodness. I read this and I fell deeply in love with this book. Like I would recommend it so hard. It is so rare to find a book that makes me feel this way. Like it is so rare. Just the way that the author was able to capture the atmosphere and the magic, and it's in the real world technically, but there's like magic in it, like actual magic. There is a plot going on. It's just kind of secondary. I feel like the biggest emphasis is about like the magic, which I was all there for. I really love books like this. It's kind of rare. I feel like there isn't normally books that have that kind of emphasis. They usually go the route of like having a plot, having characters be the emphasis and stuff. So it is like, it's a unique one. So it really surprised me by how much I totally fell in love with this one. Okay, next is my favorite book couple of the year, and 100% I am going with Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I love this book. So Roman and Iris is the book couple in this, and I cannot stop thinking about this couple in particular. Like the rest of the book I absolutely adored. I gave it 5 stars, so it was like totally up there. But the romance is just so to die for. Like this is exactly what I want in a romance. It is so good. It's so believable because it's like they don't like each other at first and they grow to like each other, and usually, or maybe not usually, but just often that can be done kind of unbelievably or kind of like cringy, but I feel like the way the author did this was so good. So yeah, I would just totally recommend this one. The romance is so amazing, and I cannot wait for the next book to come out. It comes out the day after Christmas, which kind of sucks because I would have loved to ask for this book for Christmas, but oh well, what can you do? So it left off on a cliffhanger, so I'm very excited to find out where the story is gonna go, but that is definitely my favorite book couple of the year. And next I have my favorite characters of the books that I've read this year, and I'm definitely going to have to say Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I actually started this series years ago, but I never picked it up again because I stopped reading. And then this year I finished the series, and it's like probably one of my most favorite series in the entire world, and a lot of it is because of the characters, specifically the main character Selena. She has the coolest, most amazing character arc, and she's just, I love her. I feel like there's a lot of things about her that I can't say without like spoiling because it is such an epic saga of a series, and so what I mainly appreciate about her happens kind of towards the end, so I don't want to say too much about her, but oh my goodness. I know that the series is long, but I am not ever going to stop recommending this series because I promise that it's worth it. I promise that it's worth it at the end. Like, it is so rewarding, it is so beautiful, so emotional, makes me cry a lot. So and by the end also you're kind of accumulating a big cast of side characters, and I feel like side characters are a little bit hard to nail. Like what I was saying with Fourth Wing, like I really did not fall for the side characters. Like I didn't care about them like at all. There were a few I cared about, and when they were hurt, I was hurt and I wanted to cry. But with this one, it's like, oh man, I would die for all these side characters, like seriously. So that is just, yep. characters are nailed in this series. Alright, next we have the most frustrating book of the year. I have a few that were frustrating, but I feel like the one that was the most frustrating was Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I am so disappointed by this book because I really thought that I would like it. I don't really know why because I didn't know a whole lot about it, but I thought like the dark undertones would be cool. I thought that the mystery would be neat, but I was so wrong. The mystery was so predictable and dumb, and the main character is annoying, and she talks way too much about how hard it is to be a woman, and it's like totally taking away from the actual fact that it was hard to be a woman back then with how much she was just like cheapening it, and the stuff that was happening to her wasn't even that bad. So I was just, yeah, it was really annoying. It was annoying. I gave it a low rating. Very frustrating, very disappointing. I don't know if I'll pick up the rest of the series. I guess you guys can tell me if it gets better the later on you go, but with where we're at now, I am so fed up with these characters that I don't want to ever pick up one of these books again. Oh boy. And the sun is coming, so I might be glowing by the end of this. Who knows? Next is a book that I have not stopped thinking about, and there are quite a few, but I have two that I want to mention specifically. So this year, one of the things that got me into reading was, oh my gosh, the Harry Potter series. I've never like watched any of the movies, I had never read any of the books, and I read them this year and I totally fell in love. I totally understand why these are hyped up so much, why they're so widely loved, and it's because they're the best. And yeah, I definitely have not stopped thinking about it since. Like, I'm just gonna be thinking about this for the rest of my life. Such an epic story, so amazing, with all the best characters, and I know that most people have read it, but there's actually a surprising amount of people that haven't, so I'd highly recommend. I feel like I've watched not all of the movies, but most of them, and I feel like the books totally capture a charm that the movies can't. So I am 100% recommending this, even if you've seen the movies. Like, I just can't recommend it enough. Like, it's so amazing. And then for the other book that I can't stop thinking about, I mean, I've read this kind of recently, so I guess it's kind of understandable that I'm still thinking about it, but like, it's just so good. It's gonna be one of those books. So we got Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I like this better than the Hunger Games trilogy, which is saying a lot because I did love those books, but I'm just so blown away. I'm like, for a villain origin story, which I already really like the idea of, like, this was so well done. Just the way that Coriolanus goes from a charming, pretty compassionate guy, and you're just seeing his downward spiral, his downward journey, like, is so interesting, and it's so just really just kept me up at night, you know? Like, when I finished this late at night and I was tired, but then when I finished it, I was just like, for the next like hour, I was just in bed, like, just thinking about it. Like, it was so interesting. Just all the callbacks to the original series, and it's just so understandable now why he was the way that he was. Even just little conversations that he had with Katniss, like, I understand now. Like, I understand why he had those, just why he said those things. So it's like, I didn't read this when it came out because I thought it would be kind of dumb. Like, I've already read the series, like, why? But since the movie came out, I didn't want to see it before I read the book, and so I read the book, and I was just like, and then I watched the trailer, and then I like couldn't breathe after I watched the trailer. I was just like, so yeah, needless to say, couldn't stop thinking about it. Very much always on my mind. And then finally, I have a widely liked book that I disliked, and that is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I am not a romance person. I am discovering this. I am really not a romance person, and this was just so mediocre. It was so mediocre. Like, with how everyone was hyping it up as like the cutest thing ever, I was like, it's okay, I guess. One of the things I like least about romances is that the book ends like right as the couple gets together. Like, that's so lame. That's why I like fantasy romance better, because then there's like a continuation of the couple's story. So I like that so much better. I want to see them together. I want to see them thriving, maybe get married. I don't know. I really like when characters get married. Yeah, it was also like high school. It's YA, so like I guess that's understandable, but it's just like so like lame. I don't know. I think this is a good segue into the next portion of the video, which is talking about reading goals for the next year. And one of them is I want to give romance a chance. I want to give romance a chance. I want to read a little bit more of a variety of them. I feel like one of the reasons I don't like romance is because there isn't a whole lot of variety, but I want to explore it. I just want to make sure, like, because I know it's such a deeply beloved genre, and so I really want to give it a fair chance. I want to explore it. My cup of tea is always going to be fantasy and sci-fi, but you know, I want to see what there is to see. So definitely stay tuned for videos that will be along that vein, exploring romance books and what you guys find popular and what you guys find super cute and awesome. So I'm gonna be doing that, which is gonna be interesting. Luckily, romance books are usually pretty short, so I'm thankful for that. We're at the disco right now, guys. Whoa. Oh man, I can't wait to not have this lighting anymore. But this is also the year that I started booktube, and so I am so thankful for you guys. I am so thankful that you guys have subscribed and keep on watching my stuff, even though some of my stuff is just scatterbrained and chaotic. But yeah, I am always so thankful for the support that you guys give, and just keep it up, because I'm going to keep it up. I'm going to keep on making more videos. I'm going to keep on listening to your suggestions, so make sure to keep on giving me suggestions for the videos that you would like to see and the books that you would like to see me review. I'm going to be doing a lot more challenges, all that stuff. This new year is going to be a year of growth, a year of lots more reading, a year of lots more video making, and a lot more reacting and crying and swooning and kicking my feet, all that good stuff. So please stay tuned. Please keep watching my stuff. Make sure to comment and like on this here video, and stay tuned for the rest of my end of year content, and I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.